check out this Baby Yoda wallet I got. I hate my wallet. I always complain about it, and I got a brand new, super cute Baby Yoda wallet. Listen, I saw Wonder Woman 1984 last night. I didn't want to do a full-on spoiler review, even though I am going to be talking spoilers. I mostly wanted to talk about my favorite scene and my favorite moment in Wonder Woman. I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie first. I did not like the trailers leading up to this movie. I thought the trailers looked kind of bad, but then I saw reviews of people saying this movie was meh, and it made me think I was going to love it. Because the thing is, it seemed everyone loved the first Wonder Woman and thought it was like an amazing movie, and I didn't really I liked it, but I think the movie completely falls apart in the third act, and it made me almost dislike it, and everyone loved that movie. So I was like, maybe if people are saying this one's okay, maybe I'll love this one. But that's not the case. I really didn't I couldn't see myself ever watching this movie again. I didn't dislike it. I think Wonder Woman 1984 is an entertaining movie, but it's 2.5 hours long, and so much of it is so cheesy, and it's so hallmarky in its emotions, and it's so sappy, and it's so preachy. And I just didn't like it as much. I think Pedro Pascal is incredible. I love this guy. I love him as Mando in The Mandalorian. And I loved him in this movie. The thing is, this movie, spoilers by the way, it's all about the Dreamstone. You know, if you've seen, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. You should have seen the movie before watching this. The Dreamstone gives you wishes. He becomes the Dreamstone, and he's trying to dig his company out of the grave through this Dreamstone, getting people to wish. And I love seeing him manipulate people and doing that. He was very Jordan Belfort-esque, and I thought Pedro Pascal was doing a great job. But then towards the end of the movie, he went from being like a con man, Jordan Belfort type of guy, to just being insane and was getting way too over the top. And it wasn't Pascal's fault. It was just the writing of the character and just a story of him getting way too over the top to the point where he's at the end filming himself take over every TV thing in the White House, and there's a tornado going on around him that Wonder Woman just can't get through his tornado that's around him. And it just became too much. So much of this movie became too much. I loved it in its smaller moments. I love it in the beginning when it's trying to be like 1978 Superman, where it's kind of fun, kind of cheesy, feels like a Saturday morning cartoon of Wonder Woman saving people at the mall and tying up the villains and throwing them on a cop car. I loved her hanging out with Chris Pine. I loved Steve Trevor and Diana, their chemistry together, them hanging out together. Steve Trevor this time being the fish out of water and being the one who's in a whole new world and seeing his reactions to everything was so much fun. And that's the stuff in the movie that I love. That's the stuff I really like. I didn't like the runtime. I didn't like the third act where it just became way too much, to where Kristen Wiig becomes Cheetah, becomes the cat girl. She goes full, I'm gonna be an apex predator. I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be an apex predator. And the CGI just didn't look good. And one person in the movie just yelled out, "Hey, it's like Cats." You remember that movie? And once they said that, that's all I could think of. Which I did see this in a movie theater. It was cool to see another movie in a movie theater. It's been, I've only seen 3 movies in theaters since the pandemic, so that was cool to see. But yeah, it was like Cats. It was like Wonder Woman was fighting someone like Cats, and then she's born again at the end of the movie. I didn't love this movie. The sappiness, the cheesiness, and the end with Pedro Pascal. Sorry, I've already forgotten all the characters' names. I mean, I think that's a problem with the movie now myself. Pedro Pascal hugging his son at the end, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't make you proud." And the son's like, "You don't need to make me proud. You're my dad and I love you." And then the music swells and they play and they hug, and it's just oh my god, this movie's crazy. And that speech that Gal Gadot gave us, where she just stared into the camera and preached about, you can't wish things, bad things, because life and because the whole world. And I'm just oh my goodness. Best scene in the movie. It's when she has to relinquish her wish, when she has to give up her wish. It is willingly sacrifice Steve Trevor, and it's her learning her lesson from the very beginning of the movie. You remember in the beginning of the movie when she's doing that race, which was pretty entertaining. I really liked that scene. But she's doing her race, and she learns from her mother. She learns you can't win by being a cheater. She cheated in the race, and you can't win that way. And she couldn't win Steve Trevor back by cheating. She wished for him back, and she got him. But the world isn't that easy. That's the lesson she learned in the beginning of the movie, and she didn't understand it back then, but I think her mom says, like, one day you will know what it takes to win, and you will know true sacrifice, and you're gonna learn. And she does. And it's like the woman, I forget her name, but she's wearing the wings of, who did that great sacrifice for her. She is now doing a great sacrifice and giving up what she cares for most, Steve Trevor, her love. You know, she's Wonder Woman. She does all these things to save people. And, you know, she asks nothing, but all she wants is her love, Steve Trevor. And she finally gets him back, and she has to give him up. And that scene was so good, so emotional. Gal Gadot did such a good job. For everyone who shit talks her acting, I think she was phenomenal in that scene. And she runs away, and then she goes up into the sky, and it's where she flies. That whole, I'm picking two scenes as the best scene in the movie, but that, her relinquishing her wish, you know, and giving up Steve Trevor, losing Steve Trevor, which leads into her flying, that like 3, 4, 5 minute scene in total is the best scene in the movie. In a movie I didn't love, that was like a scene that I still remember, and a scene to take away. And like, I don't know if I could rewatch Wonder Woman 1984 itself, because it's so long and so much of it I just didn't care for, but I could rewatch that scene many times. I'll probably watch the movie again when it comes out, but I'll just forward to that scene and I'll skip around, because there's stuff that I like. I like Kristen Wiig's character a lot in the beginning, and I like her when she starts getting more powerful and becoming like Diana. But then at the end, she's like, I'm just gonna dress insane, you know, walking the streets like a hooker with these giant heels and these fur coats, you know, look like a Kardashian, but all gothic, like with my hair flipped over, and be like, It was just silly. I liked Wonder Woman 1984 enough to like enjoy it in the theater, but I won't watch it again. I think the first Wonder Woman is better than this one. They both have bad third acts. I think this third act might be better than the last movie's third act, which is shocking. But that's my favorite scene in Wonder Woman. The movie as a whole, I'd probably give it like a C+. Let me know what you thought about Wonder Woman. Did you watch on HBO Max, or did you go out to the theater and watch Wonder Woman? It was cool to see movies in the theaters again, guys. I hope there's more. It's socially distanced. Everyone's far away from me. People get much closer to me, and their spit flies at me more when I go to a restaurant, when I go to a store. In a movie theater, everyone's quiet, sitting down, socially distanced, far away from each other. No one's talking next to each other. No one's getting close to each other. It's nice. I'm down.